I wouldn't put mastering lighting in the how-to category. I'd put it in the why-to category.
Nick really wanted to do something groundbreaking and something that hadn't really been done before. In terms of the pure scale of it, it's not just another tutorial on the basics of lighting.
I knew that the fastest way to teach photographers how to see and how to light was to bring them right there with us on some of our biggest shoots.
I'm Raffael Dickreuter. I've been working in visual effects for about 10 years now. And I've worked on movies like Man of Steel, Iron Man, Green Lantern, and a bunch of other superhero movies. One day I came across Nick's name and I saw he was having a workshop. I went to photo camp and I was blown away. It was an amazing experience. So that's how I met Nick, and I was really impressed with what he's doing.
When we first created Photo Camp, I really wanted a place where aspiring artists could come to us with visions they've had their entire lives, but never knew how to capture on camera, and we show them how to connect the dots. After the success of mastering retouching, I think it was a no-brainer that we were going to teach lighting, but there was just so much content out there already that I really didn't want to move forward unless we could do it in a new way.
He came to me with this idea for this really ambitious lighting tutorial.
I really wanted to use 3D to teach lighting because I had never seen it done quite like this before. We were looking for a way to take the viewer back to the beginning of the creative process and actually produce and light the shoot with us in real time. I've seen a lot of tutorials where they take you on set with them, but it's very much like a fly-on-the-wall documentary. I wanted it to be as if you were the photographer. These are the exact obstacles that you would be dealing with. What would you do in that situation?
Focal length adjusting. Focal length locked.
Right after we launched WMB 3D, and then after we released Slickforce Girl, it hit me that I could actually take some of our most popular shoots and recreate them virtually so we could bring photographers into our world and they could see through my eyes. To me, that's what's so exciting about 3D, is that it's completely immersive.
The way he is, he thinks we'll just get this done in no time. So I was the guy who said, but you don't have a render farm, you don't have many people on this. This is gonna take a long time to make. It almost was creating a small visual effects studio from scratch, with different artists working on it, setting up a render farm, bringing all the technology together, also educate him on the process of how to do visual effects on that scale.
My favorite thing about the warehouse location is just how massive in scale it is. It's over 60,000 square feet, and it's just huge.
The warehouse, pretty complex environment. So if you want to create that in 3D from scratch, what you need is a lot of reference photographs. Then pretty much like modeling in clay, you lay the foundation. You lay the floors, you put the pillars up, and pretty much every little detail has to be created for it to look like a real warehouse.
I wanted it architecturally to be as accurate as possible so that I could place the viewer in the exact position that I was when I was looking at or thinking about or setting up a particular shot.
Creating an environment wasn't enough for Nick. Let's go to the difficult stuff, creating people, and especially good-looking girls.
In order to build Warehouse Wonderland, I knew we would need to recreate our model Erin, who is already stunning. So I called her up and said, I need you to come out to LA, stand in your underwear, and spin in a circle. And she said, okay. Oh, that's great. Just for kicks, do you think you can rotate in that pose? Like, I mean, you don't just give me as many angles as you can, because that's genius.
I'm Erin Livingston, and I've been modeling for 6 years. So today was very interesting. Nick had me turning around in a circle and standing in my underwear. It was just being very still and not being allowed to blink.
1, 2, 3, go. Too much, yeah. Okay.
It's very rare, after almost 7 years of doing this, that you do something you've never really done before. So I'm excited to see how it turns out.
360. The thing that looks like a gun is a 3D scanner, and it shoots out laser rays, and they bounce back, and it helps the computer to recreate a 3D model of the girl.
I just wrapped the craziest thing I've ever done. Apparently now there's going to be a model of me on a computer somewhere. So we'll see how that turns out.
Texturing a 3D girl is also pretty difficult because we're just so used to looking at humans and we know what they look like for real and what that should look like.
In the first few stages of 3D, the model has no hair, she has no eyes, and that was pretty tricky for me as someone who's accustomed to getting a usable image straight out of the camera.
In contrast to photography, where you see what you get immediately. In the 3D world, you might have to wait a couple of hours just to see one frame till it is computed, which is called rendering. Now that you have a first version, you want to go back, fix all the issue, you want to put in all the details, make it look clean, and from then on, you try to create her surfaces. So her skin looks right, and her eyes look like real eyes, beautiful hair, the dress, everything has to be created. Hair is pretty challenging, takes a long time to render, and you can't really hide it because it's a hero feature. So you have the environment, you have the model, you have the lighting, all the materials are set, all the textures are in place, and now let's put on a camera move and let's see what it looks like.
That's great because now you see the stairs. Just make sure your tilt doesn't move that much. Make sure the tilt stays the same.
It was super easy and great on working with Nick on camera angles. Nick obviously has a cinematographer background, and for him it was the most natural thing to come up with these crazy camera moves that we had a lot of fun creating.
I looked at it as primarily informative and educational, and if it looked really cool, that was just kind of a bonus. What ended up happening was, it turned out that these wild camera moves were actually a better way to teach the lighting.
The advantage of a 3D environment versus just a flat image is you can go to any location in that environment. So imagine having a house where you can walk around and you can pick your angles. For a training DVD, that's an amazing possibility because you can put the camera wherever you want and you can show the audience whatever is helpful to them.
This is an unprecedented time for the art of photography. Never in history have there been more photographers in the world, and it's increasing at an exponential rate. What we want to do is to arm those artists with tools that help them achieve their visions more quickly and more easily. Anyone can master lighting. You've been analyzing light your whole life, whether you realize it or not. From the first second you opened your eyes, you were interpreting what you were seeing. Lighting is quite possibly the single greatest tool for a visual artist. You can't do anything without light.